Hey everybody, how you doing today? Out a little walk here, but wanted to discuss some things that are going on right now that's raised some concern in my little scope of the world, but it seems to be kept under the radar for a lot of sources, news sources or whatever, and that's this Ebola outbreak, if you will, which seems to be the way it's developing, but it's not getting a whole lot of play in our media here in the U.S. Seems like the British media have picked it up. They have a little bit more influence and a little bit more presence in West Africa, it seems like. But yeah, this I definitely would advise everybody to study up. Do not take this lightly. This is not like H1N1, SARS, these other things that we kind of get blown up out of proportion in the media, and then nothing ever really goes down as far as outbreak, epidemic levels, stuff like that. And that's mostly because of the nature of the way they work and the nature of different vaccines and treatments. Well, with this Ebola, there is none of that. Medications don't work. All the stuff, antibiotics, Cipro, all these other things that they can use for other things don't work on this virus of Ebola. And there's been no found vaccine. Had a little Twitter discussion with Political Report earlier today. She was looking into some possible vaccine patents for Ebola and an award announcement for developing the vaccine, but there's still not one out there. And I'm thinking she might do a video later discussing the potential for any type of patents that might be out there for it. Whoa. Or anything like that. And hopefully she always does some good research. Hope to see something on that. But I'd recommend everybody really look into this and see where this falls out, because it's getting really sketchy over what's happened in the past with this virus. Because in the past, it's always been located in West Africa, Central Africa, and it's not really been a concern here. But now it's starting to spread in a way that one is being kind of subdued and not talked about, and it's unknown, because now doctors that have been treating this virus for decades, the lead doctor, and I think it was in Sierra Leone, the one has died from it, and there was an American doctor from Liberia, and these people have been treating this for a long time. They know, and they've used protocols for decades on how to avoid it, using the proper protective equipment and the cleaning procedures they use. Well, there's a gap in that now, apparently. If these all doctors now, I think 4 total, are now getting it, when all this decades of experience would, you think, be on their side and still prevent them from getting it as they treat people. But that's not going on, and that makes me really wonder what's going on. And they haven't talked about the key word in the media of a mutation, which is the first thing I think of when people start getting it that shouldn't be, or in ways they shouldn't be. And that goes to the effect of either it's more virulent as it sticks around in a longer period of time in a place where you could pick it up, and then wipe it in your eye or mouth or whatever, or it's an airborne situation where it's able to transmit through the air more easily, and all those precautions don't do a whole lot of good when it's traveling or is able to exist longer in the air. So that's a concern. And the other, I don't see how it could survive. They use like a 20% bleach solution to wash down any facility that has housed a patient, and they literally spray down the whole inside of a room, every single surface, It's not just like a wipe down, it's like sprayed down and cleaned with like 20% bleach. So I don't know how anything could survive that, but you know, it's not like a drug resistance is the issue. We're adapted to drugs because none of those work anyway. So just something to look into on those situations. One other concern that me and Political Pork kind of touched on a little bit talking to each other was the ability to use fear to control the populace. And in this situation, that could be very easily accomplished potentially, because there's a lot of fear that can go with this, because this doesn't hold any prisoners. It's not like, you know, your H7N9 and your swine flus and everything, where they are selective with, you know, the old and the young are the ones that usually get it and usually die. This one goes after everybody. It has no preference. It will kill anybody. And it doesn't matter how good your resistance is, your immune system, unlike those other types of viruses and flu type viruses. So it'd be very easily to, you know, we talk about isolation and quarantine procedures. People will very easily be, you know, fearful and go into those type of situations. And also the vaccines, if they ever came around with one, how quickly people would be able to jump on that, regardless of the efficacy or any testing or anything behind that. So there's a fear and control mechanism that could go with this that gotta be watchful for. I know medicines can help in a lot of ways, but you also gotta be careful that the wrong people aren't trying to use them in the wrong ways. So stay alert, people. Be out there, look into this, understand it. Definitely don't just think this is another you know, swine flu, bird flu thing, because it's completely different, and it's completely different situation. So we'll consider to see how it develops. Really, I would be shocked if in the next 3 weeks we don't hear of a case in America, because if that one doctor that was coming to America made it to Nigeria, that's only, you know, a couple plane flights to New York, you know, central hubs, Atlanta, Chicago. And if you live in those areas, really look into the different precautions of how to stop this from spreading, so you can protect yourself in the long run. If we don't determine there's another way it's transmitted, but right now it's just you know, bodily fluids and such. But definitely look into it. Just want to get information out to everybody to really watch this, because it's not been on the front page of much of the news. It's been on Drudge, linking to different articles, and it's been big in the British press, it looks like, but Fox News, CNN, it's not on the front pages. It's not on the front of their websites. It's kind of buried page 3 or whatnot. So the main public is not really going to catch on to this until it's too late, if at all. So I just look into it, review a little bit, and stock up on bleach maybe. It's cheap, so. But anyway, just put some information out there. Hopefully Political Port, I'd like to see some vaccine information she might put out. And we'll talk to you later, YouTube. Live free. What do you think about that?